I mean, don't get me wrong, I agree with what
I'll
you're
just give
saying.
them a new way to look at the world and themselves in that world. That's it.
Well, they need new eyes, don't they? And new ears, and new minds, and new heart.
They've got them. They just need to learn to use them.
Yes, I agree. So part of this process, yes, it's necessary. It's part of the transformation, but by no means are they caterpillars been turned into butterflies. They're not there yet. They're in the metamorphosis. What they're actually doing is trying to build a chrysalis.
The caterpillar, the legs. The caterpillars.
Even that. But the intention is there to one day become a beautiful butterfly and reach the perfection of self. You know.
Right. That's everyone's
looking at things from both sides, seeing some of the yobbishness, the uncouthness that really, that's the best you can come with. I want to be free and it's like, what's that? Give me something intellectual here. Feed my brain, man. Because that's what I think a lot of them really lack, the ability to not over intellectualize, but to, through sometimes the big debate, learn how to then soundbite, but also, if those need it, to be more detailed about the exact process, how we get from A to B. Because just saying, I want to be free, well, have you accepted responsibility for that so-called freedom you're asking for? You want to be free? No, you want to be in charge. Let's get it right. There is no free. Free? What's free? You're free from consequence? You've changed the laws of physics. There's no causality. There's no such thing as free. There's such a thing as where we're at and where we want to go to. And then the stages we take in between to arrive at our destination, the journey. And
children can't be free yet.
Well, they've got a journey to go on, haven't they? And they've got to learn all about responsibility. They've been told to do a certain thing and arrive at a certain destination. That's the myth. The myth tells them that. Myth tells them at the end of the rainbow is the gold. So, best get yourself there. Some are wondering, because they've never done it, is there a pot of gold? I'm telling you this. Yes, there is. But not necessarily based just on the myth. It's based upon a full understanding that learning to discern truth from lies, right, is the same as recognizing the parable in the myth without getting caught up in the dogma that it's an absolute and no other way could it be possible. Oh, God forbid you use your diversity, your own imagination, your own creativity and arrive at the same destination. God forbid that. It's got to be perfect. Like Lego World, the guy that runs Lego World just wants every piece of Lego in the right place. And how dare you use something from somewhere else? You've confused his head. But you're fine with taking a bit of this culture, a bit of that culture, and making your own understanding of the world based on how you've arrived at that answer.
Yeah.
And nothing wrong with that. But to say, well, me, Darren, I got it like this, and if you don't get it like that, well, you ain't getting it. Without including yourself, I'm not saying you do this, but people do that with their belief systems, and it's just as bad on the Tory side as it is on the side of the protesters. People are getting caught up in their own egos. Really, the answer is coming together. Because say you wanted to, if the answer is start your own family business, then who amongst the people do you go to start that business? In reality, you'd be going to the bank. In reality, you'll be going to the local council. Even if they don't give you the money, at some stage you'll be dealing with them people. And you've built up this negative relationship, when in fact, you can build it into a positive relationship by, yes, you want the problem fixing, that hasn't gone away, but the way in which you approach the problem solving has changed. So now you're being a bit more considerate and you're going and you're asking for help. And it's not a case of, well, I'm begging. It's a case of, well, how would you come to me then? As a man on the street, would you just say, do it? Or would you say, excuse me, could you help me? So what's different? That much is true. So it doesn't matter what they've done or what their office has done. The main way we start, to fix it is for our own character, for our own attitude. Getting it right saying the right things in the right way, in ways that seed positive ideas. And we grow our way out of the problem imaginatively. We start to seed the right ideas in their head and show them the error of their ways, and eventually they accept it for themselves. It becomes a common truth. You know, every so often the renaissance has to happen. Technology opens the mind, shows us new possibilities, new studies show us new things, and we can either accept it or reject it. We can test it. We've got to do all of this. And that's our duty, that's our mission. That's how we're in this time with computers and advancements. And it'll keep going on. You know, do we want a Star Trek future? One where people are good, but have that technology to do things like go into space and explore the stars?
When are we ready?
True. When the technology's ready, when we're ready.
Technology is technology, but when we're ready.
Yeah, you know, to go to Mars would take either, if you left Earth when the two planets are the closest that they can be, and you time it right, it's going to take about a year to get to Mars.
Needs to go to Mars to find themselves.
Well, the thing is, you better have found yourself before then, because I'm telling you, spending a year away from people.
Ready, when we found ourselves, we can discuss whether we want to what we want to do with that. It's a big thing. It's the gold that people are looking for.
Well, true. Maybe one day in the future it'll be like
to polish yourself up.
A day trip.
That is the gold. Once you know yourself and your place in creation, that's the gold.
Well,
family business be damned. That's the gold. That is the business of
well, wait a minute. We need stepping stones. We can't just fly. We're not literally Supermen yet. We can't just fly there. We have to take one step at a time, baby steps, things that people can grasp. At the moment, we have a financial monetary system, and that doesn't look like changing anytime soon. You know, just saying that, oh, you know, because we didn't get our way in a vote, we're going to go to war. It's really the height of immaturity. They're showing themselves not to be ready, aren't they? What needs to happen is people come in with something like a business plan. Something written down on paper that shows a bit of thought, it explains your ideas, it details what needs detailing, and it's open to debate. You know? That's the other thing. How dare you take my precious idea and, oh yeah, you're doing that with it, oh my baby. We're like that with music, we're like that with films, we're like that with ideas. Oh, I'm the author of this, nobody can think of it better than me. Ooh.
So why write it down then? Why not just leave it as a...
You know, I wonder if Moses thought, you know, maybe that's why we ended up with the books of Exodus, you know, having commandments, because Moses was the one writing it. He thought, you know what, I'm going to add my little piece. My little piece is 10 commandments. There you go. Maybe that was his ego. I mean, it does talk about his ego. He wrote it, didn't he? So it definitely says he wrote it. So it's reiterating the fact that he wrote it. Well, let's think about someone writing something and how important that is to them, and how dare they change something that I have written. Yeah? That I thought, this great thought I had, the you know, it's blasphemy of my thought process, my I amness. That is the gulf I think that needs to be closed. That's where the ego starts to creep in. It's true just as people of faith as it is of people of any other mind fix.
Well, let's not deny the ego. Let's
in some way use it to its proper...
For the right reason.
Yeah.
If someone's so egotistical that they want themselves to be the best they can be, right, well...
That might be a good thing.
Why not?
But usually because of the meaning of the word.
If your ego is causing you to not betray your conscience, why? Because no one else can see, but your ego it can see, and your ego actually wants the best for yourself. Maybe God is just super ego. Maybe it's more than that.
Yeah.
But as far as the human is concerned, he doesn't control the world around him as much as he controls the rate of his pulse consciously. That'd be a shame to be burdened with that level of knowledge when really the questions we have as humans are much more.
They arise out of the freedom to think. That freedom is overlooked.
Is there a freedom to think? Or do thoughts pop into your head that cause you to reflect on them?
Only maybe a series of experiments could, I suppose, give us real indication of
really
what's going on.
Does it? If we've got a rough idea of what's going on, isn't that just what we have at this moment, a rough idea?
Yeah, but does it deserve an answer?
Of course it deserves an answer.
I agree.
Deserve an answer.
So people should take the time to study.
What is all of this about? Is it a God thing? Okay, well, let's have God in the picture then.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a science thing? Well,
is it an affirmation of a mind that is
what do we
primitive?
What do we need it to be? Do we need it to have the perfect the freedom of a scientific worldview, where there's no necessary super ego or God to control us? We can find our own destiny, except that it's not necessarily everyone who gets a say in that. It's the people who allocate the contributions of science through either money or political power.
Mm-hmm.
It's not quite freedom for the masses. Most people don't get a say, but most people keep themselves or are kept in ignorance anyway of a lot of things, seeing only their more immediate concerns than taking up Messiahdom, which, let's face it, if you haven't got the ego for it.
Well, I'll say again, what did the vote in Scotland reveal about Scotland's character? Nothing.
What is Scotland's character? Isn't that a made-up thing?
You tell me.
It's a made-up thing.
All right. Well, I'll take, for the purposes of debate, the opposite point of view for a minute. And so it revealed everything about.
Do you have a Highland character and a Lowland character as a sub category within this broader, large Scottish character?
No.
Do you have a seaboard character?
That wasn't the question.
Character?
Where you lived.
Of course it does.
Wasn't so much the question as with defining this as Scotland.
What about this
versus the
generation? Maybe black Scottish?
It was the constitution between the countries saying we are one country, united by a belief system. Some people have forgotten what that notion is.
We are united by geography. That's about all I could say.
Then it's time to return to the true constitution, which at the heart of things is principles. And we have a principle.
We've decided on a true constitution yet.
Yeah.
So all you've got is human constitution.
Right. Some people are going to say, well, look, I'm talking shit because, the English forced us. Today, we're not living in that time. And people have a hard time accepting that fact. It's like people that go on about slavery as if, they themselves today are being whipped. We're not denying that slavery happened. We're saying today.
Today, people are still suffering from racism.
Of course they are. But the level has decreased. And it's decreased because
the actual physical...
We've been fighting for the freedom.
Has decreased. But at the same time, does a black person get viewed in the same way in a number of instances? Job instances, social instances.
Have people got the patience to listen to an answer and realise that it's not about racism per se, it's about communication. It's about empathising. It's about, the real heart of the matter is we're all the same, but how do we show that we are all the same?
Are we all the same?
Deep down, I believe that. Maybe that's my noble thought right there.
Maybe it's an ignoble thought.
Maybe
the nobility of thought is one which makes distinction between oneself and those who aren't quite on your level. How can such a noble, elevated character admit of such a thing when these lowly people haven't done a thing to lift themselves up into the nobility?
Mm-hmm. That's Tory thinking, isn't it? Right there. It's one version of it.
Is it Tory thinking?
It's
No,
one version of it. I'm not denying that it has
that's
a positive root to it.
Nobility of thought is aristocracy of spirit, an elevation of spirit. I'm not common because I've worked hard not to just not think of things like the common people who have put no thought but accept what they've been taught and what they've heard from hearsay. I've spent the time to climb the mountains of truth, to weather the winds of flipping and storms.
So by those works, do we forget,
Sorry,
that
I'm a little bit
it's
higher
still
up
by
the mountain
mercy?
than you. If that's nobility, then I'm not going to condescend to that. But I'm here, and you can't say necessarily. You must admit that I am also here from your position. If you can't, well, you think we're equal. You think the world's that is the same as that. Maybe the hills will depress and the valleys will rise. Yeah, but ignorant people have got to start putting thoughts in their head. Otherwise, they can't attain to some equality. You can't be equal with someone who knows if you're ignorant. That's
Well,
not
this is the point I'm trying to make. People sometimes have to know that they don't know enough, and therefore, if it's not broken, don't try and fix it. Right? Someone says Scotland's broken. Is that the case, or is it the case of a few people? It's not all of England that they need to divorce themselves from, is it?
Bit of the world, yeah. It shares the same.
Yeah, my street's just a bit of the world, but I don't divorce my street from the rest of the city of Manchester, do I? The idea is born out of the seeds of racism, whichever way you want to look at it, right? It's racism that's fueling that. This idea that, they're different, we're different, everyone's different, they don't think like me. They better think like me. Well, since they can't think like me, I'm just divorcing them, and they don't exist anymore.
As you take you over top.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have a top up on the tea. But it's a sign of character. They haven't reached the maturity as a state of people. There's some individuals that are there, but they're gonna have to teach the rest of them what you just said there. Stop being ignorant. Stop making these quick snap judgment decisions. Study more.
If you see yourself as part of humanity, I mean, the whole notion of a nation should be embarrassing to a thinking person.
They don't know how to play the game of chess. They think they got 10 moves. First of all, in the game of chess, you move one move and then you wait for them to make a move. Right? If you don't wait for them to make a move, you don't know what they're going to do. But if you wait for them to make a move, guess what? They might have been helping you to now do that.
Chess is a bit different, actually. That you make every move in your head before they make.
Well, of course, you make the move in your head in imagination.
You're waiting for them to catch up. Oh, you're making that move. What I've already.
That's planning. That's planning. That's not the same as when you're actually given the role of you make a move so that someone else can observe the move and respond to it. Well, right into the government's like that. Let them respond.
What's the government got to do with it?
It's got a lot to do with the types of practices we need to learn as a human race if we're going to convene more efficiently and get what we want quicker. You know?
What do you mean convene?
Convene. Meet in an appropriate place with an appropriate language and get to the idea and past the idea, the manifestation, with as few interruptions and hiccups as possible. Finding all the right tools in our character, the tools of listening, the tools of understanding and overstanding. Recognising who's got the overstanding and who's got the understanding. Because, that's a big difference.